Coming up on Torrance today, it's the day after the municipal elections, and we have the unofficial results. We'll break it all down for you. A new mayor will be seated for the first time in 8 years, along with some new and familiar faces who may join the dais next month. Our city cable crew canvassed Districts 1, 3, and 5 last night to catch up with some of the candidates and even got an exclusive interview with Mayor Patrick Fury. Plus, with Measure SST on its way to passing, what will this mean for Torrance residents and businesses? All this and much more starting right now on Torrance Today. Welcome to Torrance Today. I'm Lesley Robbins. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, June 8th. I hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you so much for joining us. Fresh on the heels of an exciting election, 16 names were on the ballot for 6 different seats. Considered a pivotal year, Torrance will soon have new leadership take the helm, including a new mayor and 2 new council members. Now, according to the most recent election results, Council Member George Chen looks to be on his way to becoming Torrance's next mayor over opponent and former City Council member Cliff Newmark. Yes, Chen, the projected winner, who we will hear from momentarily, had the lead in support from voters in the early returns last night and into the morning. According to the Los Angeles County Registrar Recorder County Clerk, Chen had 57% of the votes with 10,344 votes, while Newmark, who served on the council from 2008 to 2013 before Torrance was divided into districts, had 43% of the votes with 7,779 votes counted in his favor. Christine Lee caught up with Council Member Chen this morning, and he shared in part what it would mean if he became the first Asian American to become mayor.
To become mayor of Torrance would be just an awesome, humble honor. I've always tried to accentuate my performance and skill as the way that I move forward. You know, hopefully the community realized I didn't run the campaign as an Asian candidate. You know, I ran as a candidate based on my experience, my ability. But the fact is still true. It will be history. And I want to serve the community, Asian Americans, as well as any other nationality. I'm serving for everyone.
Council Member Chen was first elected in 2018 to the Torrance City Council, serving at large, and then elected in the city's inaugural district election in District 2 back in 2020. Now let's turn our attention to the race for city treasurer, a position that had the most number of candidates, 5, running, including incumbent Dana Cortez. She was running against council member Mike Griffiths, former councilman Tim Goodrich, Rick Marshall, and Melissa Wright. Of the 4 challengers, the 2 with city council experience received the most votes in early returns, but it is still a close race. So far, Goodrich has 27% of the vote. Griffiths isn't far behind with 24.5%. Newcomer Rick Marshall and Dana Cortez both have 17% of the vote, while newcomer Melissa Wright had 14%. Now, we spoke with frontrunner former councilman Tim Goodrich last night as he was leading in the polls.
It's going to take a lot of hard work and digging in to see what the state of the office is right now. It's been a tumultuous period in that office, so I want to just really do my due diligence, look into what the current state is, and talking to people in the community, talking to stakeholders, talking to the city council about the best path forward to restore faith in that office.
Okay, looking to Council District 1 now. This year, 4 candidates were on the ballot vying for a seat to represent the North Torrance area. Now, this district has roughly 25,000 residents, with most of the district's neighborhoods located north of the 405 freeway. It borders several cities, including Gardena and Redondo Beach. And the results, well, it looks like small business owner John Kaji will likely represent this section of Torrance. As of this afternoon, the poll showed 2,899 votes were cast for District 1. He carried nearly 45% of the votes with 1,295 votes, nearly double the votes of his closest competitor, LA County Deputy District Attorney Dave Ziegelbaum, who received 646 votes. Jimmy Gao had just under 17% of the votes with 486, and David Kartsonis had about 16% of the votes with 472. As for Kaji, he served as a commissioner for the State of California Commission on Economic Development from 2010 to 2014. And City Cable's Kurt Line spoke with him last night as the votes were coming in his favor.
It was the right time for me to consider public service in a different way. I've served in different appointed positions in the past. I ran for city treasurer in Gardena. That was back in 1988. So I think I've learned a lot since then. I've gained more experience. And I think as a result, I have more to offer to the people in North Torrance.
Moving on to District 3, which is in the central region of the city with a population of about 23,000. 2,346 votes were cast to decide who would represent this district. Now, District 3 encompasses the Torrance Civic Center, the Del Amo Fashion Center, the Torrance Refining Company, LA Galaxy Sports Complex, and the highly anticipated Transit Center. The race has been a close one. Honda financial analyst Assam Sheikh, who currently serves on the city's planning commission, seems to have the advantage for this seat, though the 55% of votes he does have really doesn't illustrate just how close this race really is. There were 238 votes separating him from Lauren Cotner. Well, City Cable's Lauren LaBruna spoke with Sheikh last night as the numbers started to shift in his favor.
When I was walking on the precincts, most of the people, they asked me what's my plan for the budget, and that's exactly what they want me to work on, and that's what I will work on. And in addition to that, they were asking also about the homelessness, bringing people from temporary homeless to the permanent housing. That will be one of my priorities. So when I'm representing the District 3, these are the things I'm going to work on, the things that will make the people's quality, improve the quality of our city.
Okay, let's talk about another tight race. Councilman Aurelio Matucci is in the lead for District 5. That's the westernmost part of Torrance, which we call South Torrance, with a population of about 23,000 residents. This area includes Torrance Beach and borders Palos Verdes. It's also home to Candy Cane Lane, the Hillside, and the Sierra Golf Course. Now, in this region, 3,970 votes were cast. But don't be fooled by percentages. A very small amount of votes actually separates Matucci from Gene Adelsman. As of now, only 210 votes separate the two. And as it happens with elections, more votes continue to come in through the night. At close to 11 p.m. last night, Adelsman, a retired editor and board member for 25 years on the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation, had more than 52% of the vote, and Matucci, a real estate broker who was first elected to the city council in 2018, had nearly 48% of the votes. Well, we caught up with council member Matucci this morning to see what he had to say.
This is my third campaign, so I kind of grown accustomed to it, but I'm definitely not as stressed as 2014 and 2018. There's a lot of things that we started over this last 4 years that I'd like to continue. The homeless plan, the coyote plan. I think it's important that the right people continue to push for those things to try to keep our city clean and safe.
What a race, and one we will be sure to keep an eye on until the official results are announced. Well, one position that was uncontested was that of the city clerk. Rebecca Poirier, who has served as city clerk for the city of Torrance for 8 years and ran unopposed, will remain in her seat. Yes, 100% of the votes went her way. That's over 14,000 residents, keeping her right where she is, serving the city. Poirier began her career in municipal government with the city of Buena Park in 1997, followed by 9 years of experience in the city clerk's office in Redondo Beach. She worked for the City of Torrance as the deputy city clerk from July 6, 2009 until she was elected city clerk on June 3rd, 2014. That's well over 2 decades in the city clerk profession. Congratulations to you, and thank you for continuing to serve this community. Well, last but not least, an important item on last night's ballot was Measure SST. Returns do indicate that Measure SST will pass, with 55% of the voters saying yes, with about 2,000 votes separating those who are opposed to the measure. 9,801 votes were cast in favor of the tax increase, with 7,970 votes against the measure. Now, this measure will add a half-cent sales tax to the city's existing 9.5% tax on retail purchases, which brings it to 10%, which actually is in line with neighboring cities. But really, that half-cent tax would equate to adding 50 cents to a $100 purchase. Essentials like prescription medication and groceries will be exempt from this tax increase. The money is expected to bring in about $18 million a year for the city to fund its local services like fire, paramedic, public safety, and emergency responses, ensuring safe schools, protecting local drinking water sources and coastal water from pollution, keep parks and other public areas safe and clean, repair streets, prevent theft and property crime, maintain senior services, and address homelessness. We caught up with outgoing Mayor Patrick Fury last night to hear what he has to say on Measure SST and why it was so important that the city pass this measure.
This is something that I thought was very, very important for our community to get this sales tax measure passed. So even though I'm leaving office, I recognize how important this is, not just our economy, our budget, but to the future of our communities. This will be the opportunity for us to take it to the next level. Although I'm leaving office, I'm not leaving the city. And this is where I live, and this is where my family lives. And I want to remain here. I want it to be the safe city that it is.
Thank you, Mayor Fury, for an incredible 8 years. You will be missed, but we know we'll see you around. And that is our show for today, recapping everything you need to know about the elections here in the City of Torrance. And please keep in touch by emailing us at torrancetoday@torranceca.gov. Thank you for joining us. We will see you back here tomorrow with more news from and for our Torrance community. Have a great day.